off of the cloud yet?
Yes.
What do you see down there below you?
I see the first house that I remember living in. Not the house, but being outside. Outside off of the porch, kind of, I can see up the side of the house where we had a swing, and then going down a slope, a hill to the garage. Just being there. This house was also on a hill. So there was a grassy slope that went down the front of the house. There's a grassy slope that went down to the right, to the garage. And then if you go up more on the side of the house was a swing, it wasn't a swing set. It was just just like, from ropes from a tree limb. And there's concrete closer to the house. It was an old house, not anything fancy, the house was white. Some of my earliest memories right there in that place. One of my first jobs as a little bitty girl was to take the garbage down that slope to the garage. There was a garbage can down there. I was supposed to take the garbage and put it in that garbage can. And when I looked up the sky, I saw clouds, and I started crying because I didn't know what they were, right? So, I don't know, I guess my parents soothed me. Yes. I guess it was grass, but it wasn't any kind of fancy grass. It was more like junky grass, and maybe chat interspersed on that. It wasn't neat and tidy, or, it wasn't landscaped. It was just rough. Going down the other hill, there was a apple tree. The boys in the neighborhood would come and climb the tree and pick apples, and I think one of them fell out one time and broke his arm. Yes. If I look at them.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you see?
I see feet, and the shoes that I see are like Mary Jane's. I don't know if I had those or not, but that's what I see when I look now. Red.
Red.
Yes. With socks on. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say I have on shorts. Blue. White socks. Blue shorts. I think I have a sweater on. It's pink. 3. Trying to take the garbage down to the garbage can. Yes. Yep, because I saw the clouds and I started crying, so I went back in the house. Yes. Well, when I go in the house, my mom had me dry the silverware. She had washed the dishes and wanted me to dry the silverware. And I picked up a sharp knife. And she had told me how to do it so that I didn't cut myself. But I wondered if I put it on my finger, if it would cut me, and I tried it and it did. Yes. I guess I got a Band-Aid to put on it. Didn't do that again. I learned the lesson. Mm-hmm. Oh, she's wearing a dress with an apron. A pink dress, and it's got a big white button on the front. And her hair is in curls, like around her, that like framed her face, but kind of shoulder length. And she has lipstick on. And the apron is flowered. Yes. And she's standing at the sink that looks out the front to the front of the house. And this kitchen area, which had a table on one side, was kind of the basement of the house. And then attached to that was a laundry room. It was also part of the basement. And when we would come into the house, if we had been out and came home and it was dark and we turned on the lights, all of these big black bugs would scatter. So they were like, so they were like beetles of some kind. So I remember running after them, trying to step on them. Then toward the end of that room was, eventually there was a cot there. I don't know if it was there all the time or not, but at one point, my dad's brother came to stay with us for the summer, and that's where he slept. He was still in high school. So that's why I even remember that part of the basement, him being there. My uncle, who I didn't see very much because my dad was, and he were from Kansas, and so he had just come to be with us for the summer to work. Not a whole lot. My mom had just had my baby sister. I'm a little bit older now, I guess, because I was 6 when she was born. And when he came to live with us that summer, the baby was new. And I remember that he was holding the baby and was holding the bottle in her mouth. And I told him he needed to lift the bottle up so that the milk was in the nipple. And he didn't like me telling him that, because then he said to me, "If you were my sister, you'd be dead." And I thought, well, that's pretty rough. What a mean thing to say.
You said you're about 6 years old.
I was 6 years old when my sister was born. Yeah. But I thought he was stupid.
Yeah. Didn't like him.
No, I didn't like him that much, because there were certain things on TV that I liked to watch, like Howdy Doody. And it's like he had other opinions of what he wanted to watch, and he kind of tried to barge in on my territory there. But I noticed another thing. And the TV and the main part of the house were on another level. You had to go upstairs to those. That's where the bedrooms and the bathroom and the living room were. And since it was in the hill, the back door from upstairs went right out. It was even. You didn't have to go up or down. It was even with that level. And there was a family that lived behind us back there who had a son who would come over and to be with my uncle. And then after that, when my uncle went away, that same young man would still come over to our house, and watch TV with me. Oh, yes. Yes, he was at least junior high or high school age, and I was just 6 years old. He was watching whatever I was watching, I think, because he couldn't watch what he wanted on his TV. And I remember one time when he was there that I waited till the last minute to go to the bathroom, and on my way to the bathroom, I guess I would commonly start pulling down my pants, and it dawned on me, oh my gosh, he's back there, he could see that, which, made me check that, oh, that wasn't a good thing to do.
When you were 6?
Yeah.
So you used to hang out with him a lot?
No, just when he came over to watch TV, because he didn't like what was on his TV. And you only had one TV.
Yeah. Did you like him?
Yeah, he was all right. I didn't, one way or the other.
Yeah. You watch TV with him? Where are your parents?
I don't know. My dad probably wasn't home from work yet. and my mom was just in another part of the house. You know, that's something that I've been thinking a lot about lately. It wasn't like she was always with us, hovering over. That she was usually in a different part of the house, or, I mean, she was accessible if you needed her, but she pretty much, and I appreciate this of her, that she let us just pretty much do what we wanted to do. I mean, we weren't wanting to do anything bad or mean, you know, we just, oh yeah, you know, oh, let's play jacks, or let's play house, or let's play whatever. Let's go outside, you know, and you just did. And she wasn't hovering, like I said, you know, I mean, I'm sure, I know that she always had an eye or an ear to what we were doing and where we were. But she didn't impose herself. Like, I feel like maybe I imposed myself more on my kids, like wanting to do things with them. Like, you know, with my grandkids, it's, come on, let's play cards, or let's do this, or let's play jacks, let's do a puzzle, let's do, you know, I was always trying to be a part of it, and she was not that way at all. The only time I can remember, one time when we were, I was playing, and I must have been around Christmas or something, because I was pretending that it was the nativity scene. So I had a doll, and it was baby Jesus, and maybe one of my sisters was Mary, I don't know. But then I put myself in the scene, and I said, and I'm God, meaning that I was the character that I came to know as Joseph. And my mom stopped me in my tracks and said, oh, no, you can't be God. And I felt reprimanded. That disturbed me because of her tone and her admonition not to be God.
What'd you do?
I just stopped. I think I stopped the game, stopped the scene. I didn't want to do that anymore. And I was behind a chair in the living room, and we had baby blankets. We played a lot with baby blankets. Like, my mom would have blankets left from the babies, and she gave those to us to play with. And I mean, oh gosh, that lasted for years, where we would take those blankets and drape them over ourselves or wrap them around us and be, you know, to change our different characters and be different beings. And, you know, whether it was draping it over our head or wrapping it around us or across our shoulders, whatever. And I just felt like it was a very creative play we were engaged in. Most of our play was very creative, making it up as we go. At another house, we had a set of steps that were left over from the front of the house. My dad replaced these wooden steps with concrete steps, and he took the wooden steps and took it out and just set them next to a shed in the backyard. And we used those steps in our creative play also, somehow incorporated it into whatever we were making up. Plus playing a game, it was rocks, where you would have a rock and one person would be it was school with rocks. That's what we played. And you had a rock, and you would hold it. The kids that were playing with you would sit on the first step. There were like 4 steps altogether, and you went down the row of the kids, like maybe 3 other kids, and they would pick which hand they thought the rock was in. If they got it right, they got to move up a step. Until you keep doing that, you know, taking turns until somebody got to the top step, and then that person became the new teacher, and you'd start all over again.
Very creative.
Yeah. We didn't need Legos. Yeah. And also I'm remembering at that house, right close to there was a trash pit because we burned. The garbage man came, but we burned a lot of stuff. You burned. And I can remember they'd send me out there to do that. And when I look back on that, they sent a 6, 7-year-old out there to burn the trash, which for me now, to think about the kids doing that, I wouldn't have them do that. But I knew how to do it. I knew that you had to put it on something that would take the flame. And I knew to, just strike the match. And we used kitchen matches, which you don't see that many of these days, but they were the best kind. Not those safety matches, those were little, but they were nice, like 2 to 3 inches long, and you just struck the match and lit it and then stood back and watched it go up. But then they put a stop to all that because of air pollution. We had a cherry tree back there. A cherry tree right close to that trash pit. Cherry tree there and another cherry tree in the front of that yard. 2 cherry trees. We might have had an apple. We had an apple tree there too.
You like the fruit trees?
Pardon?
You like the fruit trees?
Yeah, like those. Those were nice to have.
Yeah.
When we first moved into that house, there was a strawberry patch, but my dad let that grow up over. So, to me, that was indicative of what people did for themselves rather than depending on grocery stores and orchards and so on, which seems like a much more of a natural way of life. Growing your own things and having the fruit trees. And we had a sandbox there. I think it was a weeping willow tree closer to the house, and there was a sandbox there. We had a cellar there too, one of those that lean there's like a lean-to next to the house, and you open the doors so that you go down into the basement from that way, which I thought was interesting.
Why?
Because that's how it was then, and it's not that way anymore. I just took it for granted at the time. But that's not to say that everybody had that. It was just that we didn't have that at the first house. It was a pretty rough basement, though. It had different levels.
The basement did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one section was like dug down deeper than this other level. I have dreams about that basement every once in a while. I don't know. More might have to do with looking for something, like looking for my cat. Because we had a cat there. And somebody must have poisoned it because we didn't have it that long before it went missing. And then I think my dad found it in the ceiling of that deeper part of the basement.
Mm-hmm. Why do you say poison?
Because it was a young cat, and she just went off and died. And we did have it in the house. That house, yeah. We did have it in the house. Because I can remember it clawing the side of the sofa and pulled the threads out. So, no, because I think it was poisoned because I think they might have heard an adult say that maybe somebody poisoned it. Or maybe it just got into something. I don't know. No. Mm-mm.
Let's leave that scene and let's move to an important day. We've now moved to an important day.
The day I got married. We had waited for 2 years to be together because I was still in school when he got out. And so for 2 years I just saw him on the weekends. So it was the culmination of all that waiting And he didn't live near me. He was not on campus. I was on campus, and he was not. He was in his hometown. And so in a way it was unusual because we hadn't been together that much, but then we were thrust, so to speak. We weren't. I mean, it was our own decision, but to be together, but it was as a married couple. And now I've had so many thoughts and regressions into my life along the way. But I remember back then it was like I was always looking forward to the weekend, and the weekend was so short. But that's how I lived those 2 years, just waiting for the future. And then now when I look back, it's like I didn't appreciate at the time on any aspect that this is the best time right now. I didn't appreciate it like I should have, or maybe what I could have. And it's not that I didn't enjoy anything. I did, but you were just in the whole cycle of day to day to day to day to day to day. And I guess it has to do with me thinking that things just have to be accomplished rather than enjoying it for what it is. And if I would give encouragement to any person in their earlier stages of life, it's just enjoy where you are right now.
You don't feel like it was that you didn't appreciate anything. The idea of appreciating
The everydayness, that is what it is. That is what it's all about. Yes, that is what it's all about, rather than constantly projecting forward. You know, just people were happy for us, and that we were so much in love, and that we were young and healthy and working, had jobs, and never did have money problems. Not that we could afford everything. That wasn't it. It was just we always had enough to take care of our needs. Appreciate what?
You appreciate that at the time?
I guess I took it for granted. We were always very frugal. Look, he especially. He was not a person to want for things, you know, like some men are. He didn't have want. He had his certain things that he liked to do, like run. And when we had our first baby, and I was still at home with her, I would wait for him to come home, and then he would turn around and leave and go run, and I didn't like that. I told him so. He started running in the morning before he went to work. So he accommodated me, but still it was like the running came before anything.
Why is that important?
For him?
For you?
For me? Because it wasn't. Because he used it as an excuse for a lot of things. I can't travel because how would I run? I can't do that because I have to run. That's why. I can't take a cruise because I can't be cooped up on a ship.
See here?
Nope.
Now move to another important day. What's happening?
I just had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know what it was going to be. It was a girl. I had 2 girls eventually. But the first one was more, didn't know anything about being a mom or what new motherhood was like. But had the finally, and she was like a month late. People say, well, they didn't figure it right. Well, whatever. Figured mine like they figured everybody else's. And so it was a long, hard wait for that baby at the end. And yeah, she was due on May 4th and she came May 31st. And people would say to me, haven't you had that baby yet?
That makes you feel
Terrible.
right.
I thought if it was in my power, I would have had her. Why are you? It was like they were accusing me of, that's how I took it. They were accusing me of something that I had done wrong. Or the denial of it. Oh, that didn't really happen. That didn't really happen. They just figured it wrong. Yeah. She walked at 8.5 months. And then that first time that you see her, which when I had her, I could watch her come out in the mirror up above. And I remember, and I didn't know, again, I didn't know if it was a boy or girl yet. And I thought, oh my gosh, look at that baby's coming out of me. And it looks just like Steve's mom. How can that be? And then, oh gosh, I remember when the placenta came out, which was a complete surprise to me. I had no idea that that was going to happen. I thought, what in the world does this happen? And then the doctor slit me in episiotomy. He just, all of a sudden, there was just this cut that I could feel. Heck, I didn't know what was going on. But then I can remember looking back at her. She was kind of to my left on a counter, whatever they were doing to her. And I thought, all I kept thinking was, all these months you've been waiting for her, and that's what she looks like. That's her right there. I'm finally seeing you. Oh, it felt very, just more wonder. This is it. This is it. This is what you've been waiting for. This is it. Right now.
I'm waiting a long time.
Yeah, at the time it seemed like a long time. But the second one, the first one was planned. It was so planned. Here was the plan. You want to hear the plan? I said to him, you think we should have a baby? Or do you want to have a baby? He said, yeah. I said, okay. That was the plan.
Second one was different.
She was not planned at all. In fact, I was still in the throes of the first year of the first one, so I wasn't even sure if I was ever going to have another one. But I became pregnant. They're 20 months apart, so not quite 2 years. So the first one was just right around a year old, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, when I became pregnant, so I mean, it wasn't like they were back to back, but still they were pretty close. So I remember being in the doctor's office, and I don't know why I was there, but they decided to give me a shot. They said, if you're pregnant, you will not start your period. If you are pregnant, you will. Whatever it was, and I don't know why I was there, that I didn't already know I was pregnant. But anyway, turns out I was pregnant. And I started crying in the doctor's office, and the nurse said to me, why are you crying? What's the matter? Aren't you married? Oh, gosh. Anyway.
Why were you crying?
I wasn't ready to have another baby. But I did. I had another baby.
Get that out from the shot.
I don't know. I can't put it all together. I don't know what was going on. Yeah. Just remember I got a shot.
Anything else you want to see here?
No.
We're drifting and floating away from those times. You're leaving her there to continue on that journey. May I speak subconscious?
Yes.
I have permission to speak subconscious?
Yes.
Do I have permission to ask questions?
Yes.
I know the subconscious could have brought forth many different times and experiences to see today. You chose to bring forward those memories. Why did you pick those?
You mean the ones I just did?
Why did you pick the memory of?
Because I was so little at the time, and that memory of being afraid of the clouds had a distinct impression on me, that because looking back on it, even as an older child, it was like, why in the world would you be afraid of the clouds?
Why was she afraid of the clouds?
I think because she wasn't aware of them before.
Why wasn't she aware of them?
I don't know. She hadn't looked up at the sky that much. I don't know. Or maybe because I was by myself on that path going down to that garbage can, and they had sent me out on that job to do. That was, like I said, that was the first time I had been given a chore like that. Yeah.
Made you look at the sky.
I think because I was out there by myself and I just looked up. I saw the blue sky with some white puffy clouds up there. I didn't know what that was all about.
Why was she afraid of the clouds?
Just unfamiliarity.
Why did you want her to see that?
Just taking in more of my surroundings without being guided. I think because early on it showed me that I was going to test things for myself to see if what I had been told was true. I did something else when I was in first grade. It's along the same lines. I had on a dress and it had like this lacy overlay that was scalloped. And I took my scissors and cut one of those off just to see if those scissors would cut that. And it did. Cut it right off.
Why?
Maybe that's part of my nature, is that I have to test things out for myself.
Is that part of you?
Of my nature. See if that's true. See if that's really true. Is that really what will happen?
And?
It usually does. It usually rings true.
So why does she keep testing?
To see if it's true.
Why did you show her the experience or the memory with her?
I think just because of describing that kitchen room in that basement, that cot was there and that he slept in it. But that's why the cot was there, and I don't remember if it was there all the time or just when he was there.
Why is that important?
Otherwise, why is that cot there? I don't know. You know, and I didn't have any. I was the oldest child, so I didn't have any older. You know, I didn't have a big brother or a big sister either. So that person coming into our home was a novelty, imposed upon. Especially when he told me that if I was his sister, that he would kill me. And I thought, how dare you? And I was only 6, but I did think that. How dare you say that to me? This is my family. This is my house. We were in the car when that particular incident happened, but I thought, you're with my family and you are the stranger here, not me. So you don't have any right to kill me. I mean, I did not fear for my life or anything, but I just thought, how mean. You don't even belong here, and you're telling me you would kill me?
Why did you want her to see that?
I know. Because I knew in my attitude that nothing can destroy me. What do you think of that one? Because you don't have the right. You don't have the right to destroy me. You do not belong here.
Why is that important? Why is that important for her to know?
Because nothing can destroy me. Right? Because nothing can destroy me. And that's what I need to realize, that nothing can destroy me.
Huh?
I think maybe the cancer does. And what I'm learning right now is that this cancer cannot destroy me. It cannot destroy me. It does not have that power over me. It is an imposition on my body that has taken root in me, and it has no place in me, and it will not destroy me. Because it can't. Because I'm the one that has power over my body, not you, and I will not let you. I will not let you destroy me. That even as I pass through that line of demarcation that I saw the other side, and I'm perfectly happy, and it's clear, and it's happy, and it's bright. So, it has no right, and I command it right now, to disintegrate and leave my body if it hasn't already, because it will not destroy me. You have no right to impose anxiety on me, or any kind of fear, or any kind of loss of control. And I feel like that diagnosis has done those things to me, put me in that position.
Why?
So that I can see and prove again, I can prove again that it has not the right, that I'm the one that has power over my body.
Why does she need to see it in this way?
Because of the outside influence of that word cancer. The connotation that it has with people that hear that word. Maybe it's just me. That word has been given the power over people. And I come, and I'm here now to speak. That I'm here to be part of the force that destroys that connotation, that destroys that belief. And that's why I refuse to use that word and call it mind, because it's not mine. It's a foreign substance that has invaded me.
How did it get there?
What?
How did it get there?
I feel like I let my guard down.
What do you mean?
There was a time in my life when I took communion in church, and the words that were spoken, it was the body, taking in the body and the bread, symbolically in the Protestant religions, but literally in the Catholic religions, they believe that it actually becomes the body of Christ and the blood of Christ, that it's symbolic. And I would go, it was like I did a body scan on myself by taking in the bread, the body, and I would do a command through prayer of scanning my body and commanding foreign substances not to take root.
When was this?
Oh, early adulthood, early to mid-adulthood. And when I went through the whole religion thing, I kind of turned my back on those rites. And Because what it is, actually, it's do these things. He said, do these things in remembrance of me. So you are remembering. You are remembering giving your body and giving your blood. And yeah, because I had turned my back on religion, and I knew that practice in religion, not in otherwise. But I feel like this past year that I kind of followed his patterns of letting things go into my body that before I would have not.
After going through it the first time?
No, because I did not couple that with. At that point, I blamed it totally on the estrogen. But looking back, I tried to look at what happened in this last period of time that allowed this to come into me. And what did I do? What did I neglect to do? Was it stress? Because I was under severe stress through the building, the construction of the house and the moving and the selling the house. I had all of that. I had all of that on me. And what amazed me was that people, meaning my family, like my parents, my sisters, they never called and said, how are you doing? My daughter in Chicago would call me every once in a while. How are you doing? My local daughter, she would call me. She called me every night, but it was always all about her. And she was very good about including me in their family activities. So,
Why did she need to see this difference between how she took care of her body?
Yeah, I think she does. To do. In what way?
Yeah.
Do like regular checkups. And I'm talking about, I don't mean at the doctor's office. I'm talking about on myself. Like I did during those.
The body scan.
Scanning, and just now I know what to call it. It's giving intention to the cleanse, and learning, like I described to you, learning the way to face an emotion rather than stuffing it down. Yeah, the main thing is letting it move through.
So she haven't been doing that.
No, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know about that until recently. Did not know about that at all.
While we're talking about this, can you do a body scan now?
Yes.
Where will you start?
At my head.
Can you tell me if you see something?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Is there anything else she needs to know from those experiences and those memories?
Anything else in these memories?
What about showed her the day of getting married?
How'd
you show her that?
Because it was the culmination of what I'd been waiting for. That we were finally together, full time, rather than just looking forward to Friday nights when he would get there and then leaving Sunday.
Why did you want her to see that?
Oh my. I think to remember how much I loved him and wanted to be with him. Because I always loved him, but then I reached a point, like the last 20 years we were together, it was like I resented him.
Why do you want her
To
to remember?
take away the most recent memories of being relieved when he passed away, so that I could move on in my life. Yeah, definitely. That I was thinking of my relationship with him as being bad, bad and not being together with me, because I made a decision that during the end of his last many years that I was going to continue. I wasn't just going to stay home. And that was the choice he made. That I had other things that I wanted to do and places that I would go, wanted to go and be involved with people. Another thing that was interesting when we first got married was there was a group for young couples at church. I mean, through church. They were church couples, but we met in people's homes. And I wanted to go and be a part of that. Well, he went once and he didn't want any part of that. And he said that he didn't realize that I was as social as I became. Because when I was with him on the weekends, it was just us. And, it didn't involve other people. And then when it was just us full time, I wanted friends and other outlets. And he was not interested in that. And if he did go and do something, it was always a twisting his arm, and trying to get him to.
Why are you wanting her to know that now?
It seems like that that maybe we weren't meant to be together.
You want her to see that?
Yeah.
Why were they together? Why did she need that?
Gosh. Oh gosh. Oh my. I wanted a man. I was attracted to men with light hair. He was athletic. I perceived him as being intelligent. And that's what I wanted. And I wanted him to be nice and kind. What a 19-year-old might want. But what came to me right now was that my high school boyfriend was that way. And then along the way, when we were dating, what happened was, he put his hand on my breast, and I was not ready for that. And I shushed it away. And after that, he didn't want anything to do with me anymore. So now what's coming to me is that Steve was a replacement for him, because I carried that rejection, or carried that torch for him for many, 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 many years, sometimes stronger than other times. Yes, to the point where I would have dreams about him regularly. And in those dreams, they were vivid dreams, to the point that I would want to be with him, and he always rejected me in the dreams. Always. He always rejected me. And it wasn't until, very recently, in the last couple of years, that went away. And that now when I think about him, I don't have any desire or wish that I had been with him as my life partner.
But that's only been since Steve has been gone.
Yes. Yes. That's interesting, isn't it? That's interesting.
Why was that important for her
to go through what?
That experience.
Of having him? And
just in this life, why did she go through all of that?
You're talking about being with and him, that he was a substitute?
Yeah.
It turned out that it wasn't the best for me, I think. But I never, ever, ever would have divorced him.
Why?
Never. Why? Well, we had children together. I mean, we got along. I was devoted to him.
And she should have been devoted to him?
I sure thought so along the way. I mean, I do not regret that I stayed with him. But I've told two people besides you, and both of them said to me, I'm surprised you didn't divorce him. Never crossed my mind. Never was part of the equation.
Back on it?
No, I wouldn't have divorced him. I was devoted to him. And maybe that, and I think that is why I had the memory of our wedding as being such an important day.
Why?
Because I was happy and in love, and we were finally together. It's interesting, if we had been in different circumstances where we were together on campus and we had branched out into doing other things and he didn't want to do those, with me, maybe I would have seen the writing on the wall. I don't know. I just wasn't as contemplative or analytical about it then.
So, had she figured it out before she got married, she would have gotten it.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
She had made the commitment, so she didn't regret that? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I did not regret it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't regret it.
But have you knew what you know now, you wouldn't have gotten into it anyway?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not.
So, what does your higher self say? Why were you in that relationship?
My higher self said to me, you could have done yourself better, Barbara. You could have done yourself better. Been a more appropriate match.
Then why was she in that relationship?
Because he was, she needed to show those townies, people where I was from. There were the popular kids and other kids, and I was another kid. I belonged to the smart kids people, not the movers and shakers, that did everything, got elected to everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was to show those people that I didn't need anybody from my hometown, and that I got somebody better in those parameters at the time. Yeah. To show them that I was better than they were in the long run, because they thought they were so high and mighty. To prove that I was okay, to affirm that I was every bit as good, if not better.
Why does she need to do that?
Oh gosh, that just keeps coming around, doesn't it? Why did she need that?
Why is this self-worth such an issue?
Because I think that goes back to my childhood, of the fact that I grew into my size, my height, by 6th grade, and I was towered above everybody. And I was made to feel like I was a freak. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me until people would say, oh my gosh, you're only 11? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Or going to the movies, and I was less than 12, so I wanted to pay the child rate. Oh yeah, you're older than that. How old are you? I'm 11. No, how old are you? When is your birthday? Just going on and on. I mean, I was just made to feel freakish. I was made to feel like I was a freak. I didn't feel like that until there were outside reactions. And then I remember in 6th grade, my teacher was on the shorter side, and back then they would weigh and measure you for your report card. And she had each of us come up to this spot in the room where she could measure our height. Well, I was taller than she was. And so she had this silly little smile on her face, and the whole class they gasped. They all gasped. So it was to prove to everybody that I was not a freak, that I was at least as good or better than they all were. That's what it stems from.
Felt like she was a freak.
Yeah. I was made to feel like I was a freak. I was just living. I remember being in a store with my mom, and, somebody that she knew came up to us, and she introduced me. She was, "Oh my gosh, you're so tall. Oh my gosh." I only ended up 5'7". It wasn't like I was 6 feet or anything. Even Charlie, my husband now, I asked when we first got together, I said, "What elementary school did you go to?" He said, and I said, "Well, that's where I went." I said, "Whose room are you in?" He said, I said, "That's what room I was in." I said, "Where did you sit?" So we knew each other since 5th grade. And so he told me, and then he said, and then somehow in the conversation he related he says, he says, "What I remember about you is that you were tall, and you were always that was the guy who became my high school boyfriend. And you were always so even my relationship, if you want to call it that with him, it was a relationship, goes way back to 4th grade.
All these relationships, she's been in these relationships with these people in other life experiences.
Are you talking about from other lives?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she was. I'm thinking yes. She probably was.
Why does she need ongoing affirmations?
That I'm as good as or better than who's ever making these judgments on the outside of me.
Why does she need them?
Because I'm still feeling inferior.
Why?
Because I'm so tall and I have flat feet. Very flat feet.
That makes her feel it.
Yes. I was always trying to rise above the inferiority.
She hasn't done that yet.
In certain aspects, but it keeps coming up.
Where does it keep coming up?
So that I can set out to prove it differently. Give myself tasks. Give myself situations to overcome.
But she has been overcoming situations.
Yes.
But she still feels inferior.
At times.
Where are you at in the body?
Right here.
What's going on there?
A heaviness.
Why? What's the heaviness?
A pressure or a weight that I need to let go of.
What is it that she needs to let go of?
Feelings of inferiority.
How does she do that?
Just acceptance of who I am. Acceptance of me.
Who does she need to accept?
That I'm good at what I do. That I deal with adversity. That I am a giving person. I am not selfish, as my mom told me I was when I was little. I'm not selfish. I may not have the same personality that you do, Mom, but I'm more like my dad personality-wise, I think. And it's okay for who I am. And rather than resenting my body, I need to accept my body and be appreciative of my body. And
is that why she's been struggling with these physical issues?
I think so.
She hasn't been accepting her body.
I've resented my flat feet. I didn't grow to I resented my body when I was a kid. And it didn't affect me unless somebody said something to me, but it just seemed like in those few years, that few year span, which was really a very puberty, it was puberty time. So it was a difficult time to begin with. I mean, I was in 5th grade. Not only in 5th grade did I meet Joy and was there and I was tall, but I started my periods in 5th grade.
Why?
Why? I don't know. Why? Why did I? Because my body developed to that point.
Why did her body develop early?
Was preparing her to be a mom, wasn't it?
Being a mom seems like it plays a big role in her life.
Yeah. Yep. I want to hold them. I want to cuddle them. I want to teach them. I want to read to them. I want to teach you. I want to help you have experiences. Oh. I think because I didn't have it myself.
Why not?
She had her own issues. My mom.
She had her own issues. What?
I think kind of that way, and it's not to say that she was a bad mom. She wasn't, but it wasn't in that close way that I seemed to look for in my own experience of motherhood and even with my grandchildren now that I wanted. And I'm talking about physical closeness. I think because I didn't have it.
Do her daughters love her?
Do her daughters love her?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Why is she asking that question?
Wait a minute, are you talking about my daughters?
Mm-hmm.
No? My daughters. Do her daughters love me? Yeah, they do. But see, they put that distance. They cut off that nurturing, close relationship that we had when they were little, but they had to become adults. And I understand it, but I am not the kind of mom where people fawn over their moms and, oh, my mom's so sweet and she was just so this and she was just so that and she is this and I'm so thankful for your mom. None of that. None of that.
That's not what she wants.
I don't get any of that.
Don't get it from daughters?
No.
And also didn't get it from mom.
Right. So my perception is, okay, I wasn't getting it, but I wanted to give it. Mm-hmm. Give it. Give that. Give that. I want to give it so badly.
But that's not what they want either.
No. I mean, they let me when they were little. Yeah. But, they grew out of that. But
what's the lesson in this with the motherhood in general? I hear you talking about her mother. What is it that she needs to understand about that?
Of not having or giving it?
Both.
What's the whole lesson? What is the whole lesson? The only thing I'm thinking is, the only thing that's coming to me is that I feel like if I give it, I'll get it back. And maybe the lesson is that...
Why does she need it?
To be comforted.
Self-worth, is that where the self-worth connects to it?
I think so, yes. And that's what I get from my now. I get that over and abundantly of how much she appreciates me and thinks that I'm a great person. He said, as far as women go, and he's had a lot. Well, he was married twice before me and had girlfriends along the way, so he's had experience with women, is all I'm trying to say. And he tells me, and whether it's true or not, he tells me, you have it all. You have it all. You are a good woman. He tells me that. You are a good woman. Don't let anybody or anything let you believe otherwise. I figured,
It's been changing for her.
yes, nobody had ever, never said any kind of words like that. And he cuddles me, really cuddles me. I don't remember being cuddled by anybody.
You're talking about the physical part.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying wasn't seen. She knows this though, right?
Knows what?
This that he provides this for her.
Yes. Yes.
So why is that important to come up now?
To know and be affirmed that he has confirmed what I know myself to be down deep.
And she doesn't need to seek that from her mom or her children.
Right. Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you at in the body?
Moving down here. I'm feeling a pressure there now.
Why?
Like something wants to come out of me.
What?
I need to birth something or get rid of something.
What?
The weight, the heaviness that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
That it can move along and be dispelled from my body. Yes.
She doesn't need that.
I don't need to feel inferior because I'm not inferior and I'm not a freak.
Is that why you showed her the memory of, was it playing God?
Oh. Because I was made to feel like I did something wrong. And from my perspective now, I wasn't doing anything wrong. Number one, I was a child, and I was just portraying my perception of the whole nativity scene. Mm-hmm. And also that it's okay if I played God because I am out of God. Yes. And I am of Him. Yes. So if I want to be Him, it's okay. Yes. To be Him. It's okay. And that my mom was wrong. And that was because of her misperception. Right. Of the whole thing. So I don't blame her for that. It was just how it made me feel at the time, like I had done something wrong. And I didn't. And it played into her feelings. Yeah, probably, yes. Like I wasn't good enough to be God. Yeah. You can't be God. Right. Yeah. She doesn't need to feel that. No. No. She'll feel like, I need to be I have every reason to be on top of the world, not suffering underneath. So she'll let go of that inferiority. Yes, I'm letting go of that inferiority. I'm facing it. I'm feeling it. I'm putting it down into my lower trunk and letting it go. Now. Yes. To the point that I need to go to the bathroom. Okay. When we come back, we'll be deeper than you are now. Okay. Well, it really doesn't make any difference if I've had past lives. I am where I am now. And maybe it's just not necessary to know that. It just was an intriguing thought when I read about that. Yeah. And so, have you heard of such a thing called a starseed? Would starseeds have past lives, or would they come here possibly just for this purpose of right now, going through the change in frequencies or dimensions? The book she's reading? Yeah. He said something. I don't remember. I lost that. Is she a starseed? I came for this like what's her name? Dolores Cannon talks about that there were entities or people sent for just this time to help it happen. And I'm really feeling like that is who I am. Is that?
So why would she need to be?
To show people the way and to help make it happen by going through the transition and helping other people make that transition. Oh gosh, I remember. Oh, there was one point in my life where I saw myself as a bridge, and that goes along with this. But I guess I kind of resist that in a way also because it makes me think that I'm on a higher plane, and I'm thinking, is that putting myself in a position that is not mine to have or not mine to be? Yes.
So you're going from inferiority to
Yeah.
grandiosity.
Yes.
The
Yes.
same concept.
It is?
At a different
Spectrum. Different ends of the spectrum. Yes.
Okay.
And I went through a thing, it was an hour long, out in Sedona with this person. And she took me through some places. I had asked her to see the Akashic records. And I did not feel like I got that happened. But she did take me to a place in the spirit realm where rather than it being, in this realm people think of heaven as being up there. Well, this was going down. I went to a place and it was down, but it was all full of cliffs and rocks and stalagmites and stalactites. It was very rugged, very, very rugged. That's nothing smooth about it. And I came to a door, and Master Jesus came to the door to let me in. And he said, "Come in, you're one of us." That's what happened in that. And I
Why
thought,
did that happen?
to tell me that I'm one of him, one of them.
What does that mean?
I belong to that tribe, or I belong to that entity.
What entity? What tribe?
Of a higher ascension.
What do you want her to know about that?
That I'm accepted. I'm accepted in that fold. And that it's okay that I was never part of the group. I've never was a group person. I resisted conformity to a group, even though I eventually became part of groups. But it was more of the experience of being in it but not of it. And I've always been a person that if everybody's going this way, then I'm going to look for a different way. If everybody's doing that, I'm going to do this. If everybody's going down the hall this direction, I'm going to go a different way.
Why is that important?
Because I don't want to conform to the group.
Why is that important?
Because I have to be my own person. Because I am not them. I am different. I stand apart from that.
She needs to stand apart.
Pardon me?
She needs to stand apart.
Yes, she does. Why? Because I want to be my own person as rather than conforming just because everybody else is doing it.
What does this have to do with being starseed?
Because I am not of the normal. I don't believe that I am of the normal populace.
So she's a bridge to what?
to the higher frequencies that mankind, that humanity needs to learn at this point in time.
And she needs to teach them?
Yes.
I thought she wasn't supposed to teach
them. No, not teach. She can teach it by modeling the behavior. She can teach it by giving insights. What I'm not supposed to teach is like to have formal classes.
So what's being hidden from her?
What is being hidden? Yeah, that's one of my questions. I think that I have resisted the calling. I've resisted of who I am, thinking that that is too high. And I know cognitively, I know that there is no higher and lower, that things are equal.
Just different levels of
Just different levels of consciousness. I know that. But it's like, could that possibly be? Could I possibly be that?
Is she?
Yeah, I think she is.
So how is
that
important for her
now? It's important so that I can complete the task.
Which is what?
Making the transition, going through the transition.
Showing other people the transition?
Yes. Showing other people the way.
Does she know what she needs to show?
Light, love, unconditional love, and acceptance, and kindness, and
So why is this whole concept of compassion and empathy been such an issue for her through her life? She needed to learn that so that she could show it?
Yes. So that I not just show it, but that I could be it. So that I could be it. Yeah.
Oh, is that why she also feels blocked?
Yeah. No, I think the lesson is, like the angels have been coming through saying, you can't do it. You can't do it. There's nothing you can do. You have to just let it happen. Or another way they will say it is, you have to lean into it. And I think that I've needed to learn that when these, what, if you want to call them negatives, that I perceive as negatives, come upon me, that I need to flush those out and let them go and not let them hold me back.
She's feeling held back now?
To a point. Somewhat. Only within myself. Not because of my encounters with other people. I think the way I perceive myself with other people is that I am compassionate, I am kind, I am willing to give. I'm willing to give you all that I have. I don't know if you know the story, what comes to mind after Jesus was crucified in the Bible, which I know there's controversy that doesn't even happen, but beside the point. There was a point at which the disciples passed an invalid, and he reached out and wanted healing from them. And they said, silver and gold have I none, but what I have the word of God, and I will give that to you. And that's what I feel like when I'm given the opportunity. I give what I have or what seems appropriate for that conversation. So I'm very willing to do that. I'm very willing to, to point people to resources. And but this is a problem with it. It's not that I do it, but it's what I want to do. I want to be able to hover over that person and impart everything that I am and know to be into them. But I also realize that that is impossible. that they have to take and glean for what they encounter from me or anybody else or their life circumstances. That I can't do it for them. I cannot hover over them enough. I cannot impart it. I can only share what I have. What? And show by my life and my testimony of not having the cancer anymore, that it's gone, that it's gone.
Why does she have the cancer?
I think I hope and pray that it's the last straw to bring me to my knees and bring me to complete surrender. Complete surrender.
Surrender to what?
To God, to love, to compassion, to kindness, to...
She needed that?
She needed that to make it, to surrender all that? Is that what you're saying, asking?
Yeah.
Yes.
That didn't happen the first time?
No. Nope. It did not.
So she needed to go through this?
I think she did. Everything she's been through in the last 3 years, 4, more than that, 3. Because it's been trouble.
What does that look like inside of her?
Trouble?
The cancer.
Oh, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a picture of the one that they did the biopsy on up here. So I literally saw that. It's a black spot. About, like a half an inch, like about, And then, from what has been described to me, I did not see pictures, but they're like, when they did the first PET scan, the doctor asked me if I had mosquito bites. She said, there are these nodules. Have you been outside and like mosquito bites? So I get the impression that the other points where these things are, which is maybe like, from what I understand, maybe 4 of them, they're just like little nodules. Yes, based on her words and then how my mind interpreted her words. It didn't come up. It didn't even show on a CAT scan. It doesn't show in my blood work. It is only shown on these, what do you call them? Energies? Yeah, they're energies. Because it's the things that make it light up on the screen that indicates cancerous or malignancies.
I'm going to ask you to step aside for a moment.
Praying in tongues. Tongues came to me. Tongues came to me at this moment right now. Isindoro berikari andoromba kaboshi di besiti di katari katoro beri atarabarika. Ili andoromba kashandoro bebe sindoro papa sandoro kitarikata. Ili andoro bobaka shondere miri katori andor basha tale katarekata. Riondor bosha tale beri katoromba vario shiraba. Ili andor boka shabari katarivinda da koti katarabashi and the miliatoro bakapa. On the otro boka pisha da boka pass in the beri katare katorobi andor boka pa. Piriatro bash in the book bash, the Rebbe Capiriatro ba, Ariotro book, Pericator bash, and the Rebbe Cariatro bacapa, O Baba Sandra Baricataribi, she did the Baricatariata, the Boriatro Beca Shandira Cotiate, Iliatro bash, in the Bocapa, Iriandro back, Iriandro bacasa, Iriatro bacatiandro bocasa, Irigatro bash, and the Bercashin, the Becariatro body under the book, Pericator Baricatarica. Ili andro basha anda de boca passi andro bere cateri atorobe Iliandro Bokoshande, Karagoshi Tadabatika, Kitaba, Kitarabo. More release.
In what way?
I can feel a flush going through my body, starting here and flushing out.
Yeah. Energy?
Energy?
Or something?
Yeah, it's like an energy. Yeah, it can be an energy. Yeah. Flush. It's a flush. It was a flush.
Does she have cancer?
I don't think she does.
Does she?
No. She will not have cancer. She does not have cancer.
You've helped her remove that.
Yes.
How will she know?
She will know by, well, obviously she'll know by the scan, but she needs to get a hold of it in her spirit before that.
What do you mean?
To believe what they told me, what the voice told me.
Who was that?
I think it was my guardian angel. I don't know. Who is my Gabriel's the name that comes to me.
Gabriel.
Yeah. Gabriel. It was a feminine voice.
Why did Gabriel come
As my mother. What?
nurturing?
Mm-hmm. It's a very gentle voice. She was very gentle.
Does she have other guides?
I think she does.
Important to know who they are.
Just out of curiosity.
So who are they?
Helen is the name that comes to me.
Helen?
Helen comes to me.
Who is Helen?
I don't know. Helen. Helen. Just picked her right out of the guy from over here.
Yeah.
Helen. No, I don't think so.
Is Helen someone from a past life?
I don't know. They just seem to be in the dark. I know they're there.
Name is enough?
Yeah.
Is there more she needs to know about that?
No.
She can heal herself.
Yeah, she can. She knows that it's not just wacky what she does. That when I do what I do, it's just another form of grooming. It's interior grooming as opposed to exterior, like taking a shower and brushing your teeth. But it's just part of my grooming practice. And that I don't have to see these wild things that people say they do and see. But that's not if it comes to me sometime, that's fine, but it's not something that I have to have. Maybe some people need that for their, I don't know. Oh, she needs to just let it go. And let it go. Not hold on to it. Let it go. And no matter what people say, even doctors, it's not my reality. Is that okay?
Yes.
It's not my reality.
be that reality because she has.
Right? That I have control of my reality.
What level is she spiritually?
Far enough along that I have the capacity.
She has what she needs to do that.
Right.
For where she's at right now.
Right. I have the knowledge. I have the faith. I have the tenacity.
So what does she need to do more?
I think spend more time in prayer and meditation. Just separate myself in that regard for myself. Not because it's something I should do or have to do, but it's something that I need to do it to nurture myself. And that I don't need my mother or my daughters to nurture me. That I have a husband who is filling that role, and that I have the capacity within myself to allow myself to nurture that within me.
She'll recognize that when she leaves here.
Yes. She'll have to. She'll have to.
What do you mean?
She has to for her own survival.
And this is how she lets go. By allowing that, by believing that.
Yes.
So prayer and meditation. She can do that more. Anything else she needs to do? She talked earlier when we were talking about feeling like she didn't talk to about this. Does she need to have that?
I would like community in this realm.
So where should she get that?
I don't know. I know one thing I could do. I could just ask for it. Just ask. Ask for
She asked for it.
people that I can talk to, friends, and it's not that I want them to move in with me or anything. Just people that I can communicate with that understand my vocabulary. Like being able to talk to you today about that was very refreshing to me, because
it's almost like you can hold it. There can be a block by not being able to express.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And that I can talk about something and not have to explain it or justify it because they don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
You did. You know about it. So I could talk about it.
Yeah.
And I don't have anybody. Did you meet that lady? She was sitting on the outside of the door where you were positioned. And she's the one that let me know about that fair. Because she's the counselor that I had been to. I thought that I was on to something. And maybe I just need to look into that, because they have a center there close to me.
She's the one that organized the fair.
Did she? She organized it? Yeah. And she's the counselor that I saw the one time. And,
so community would be helpful.
yes.
Is there anything else you want to know?
But here's what bothers me about it all.
Okay.
Not about that part of it, but about that segment of it. I want community. I don't want to, and I'm not talking about today with you, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about, I want community with people on a personal level. I don't want to have to pay somebody to talk to. Does that make sense? That's what it boils down to.
I think sometimes it's about finding the right tools to get you connected. Sometimes you pay for the tools to get you connected.
Okay.
Are there other questions or anything else that you feel like you need to know or state?
It's okay if I don't have past lives? Huh?
Well,
maybe I do. Maybe
like
you were just
it's
showing me.
not important for
Okay. Okay.
It's not uncomfortable. It
Right.
can also be something that, so is she a light worker?
Yes. Most definitely.
Is she a starseed?
I'm thinking she is.
From where?
The only one I know of that I related to was Arcturian.
Sounds right.
Yes.
What does she need to know about that she doesn't know already?
Just have to do my work effectively.
Go ahead and close your eyes again.
Yes.
Why are you here today?
For clarification and release.
Accomplished.
Yes.
How will she know? What will seem different?
Seems trite, but just to be happy and more lighthearted.
Is that why she's so quick to cry?
Yeah.
Will that change too then?
I won't cry as much. Yeah, that should help. Sometimes, though, a couple times I've cried because, like one time I started crying not too long ago, not very long ago at all, where I was looking at pictures of the kids when they were babies, the grandkids, when they were younger, and it was just such a happy, loving memory that it made me cry. So it's not just sadness that makes me cry, it's more compassion.
That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It is okay, isn't it?
Is there anything else I can do to help?
I guess I just don't want you to let me go. Totally, not be dismissive of me. Does that make sense?
What do you mean?
Oh well, we did the session now. She's done. Go on your way.
She doesn't know either. Any last words?
You're the only person I know that, besides these people that I see on YouTube, that you're my first in-person person.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Let's relax. I'm going to pull you out of this state. We can talk some more, okay?
Mm-hmm.